Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a balanced druid PvP guide, and this is something you guys wanted, so let's dive right into the talents. So the first row, pretty much, you're automatically going to be getting your Starfire, Star Surge, etc. I run Rake because I personally like to stun somebody and get a free Cyclone on them right away, especially if it's a healer, so you can use a Rake just like that. I don't see a lot of Boomkins do that. Sometimes I see one occasionally, sometimes do, but I don't see a lot of Boomkins usually do that in PvP. So, but yeah, just a quick tip right there. Just try and run Rake, because I don't know if maybe people just want to run a different talent, or maybe they don't think about it. I don't know. But you can just get a free Cyclone just like that. Just stun somebody, get a free clone, and it works pretty good on healers, and maybe you'll get a trinket out of it. Then, for example, after that, you can go Roots Beam them, you know? You never know. So, but yeah, that's why I like to run the Rake, and it can definitely help out just getting a free CC just like that. So, other than that, extra stamina from Ursulk Spirits, Verdant Hearts for the Frenzied Barkskin extra healing, obviously Moonkin form because you're a Moonkin, Sunfire for the extra dots, Nature's Instinct for more healing and damage, Astral Influence for more range on your spells, Starlight Conduits for extra damage on your Star Surge, Starfire, Natural Recovery for increasing healing received by 4%, Improved Barkskin to last longer, Thick Hide to reduce damage taken so you'll be more tanky, Cyclone because it's one of the most powerful CCs in the game, Renewal, which is going to be one of your best defensives, Typhoon for a knockback, Mass Entanglement so you can root beam people, which is pretty much what I just showed you, Stampeding Roar for extra mobility to go get away, Lore of the Grove, Moonfire and Sunfire damages increase, and you'll be dotting a lot. Lacarix Teachings, so you'll have mastery in your Moonkin form. Circle of the Heavens, which magical damage dealt increased by 5%, and improved Stampeding Roar for a lower cooldown by 60 seconds. Heart of the Wild for extra defensive. Wellhorde Instincts, so it automatically pops Frenzied Regen when you're low, which helps out quite a bit. Feline Swiftness increases your movement speed, which is pretty nice. Oatskin, Survival Instincts, and Barkskin reduce damage taken by additional 10%. You can run Mighty Bash or a Capitating Roar here, but a lot of the time Boomkins, including myself, lately have been running Capitating Roar, so you can do that, and you can get a Cyclone that way. Helps out quite a bit. Vigor, when you go bear form, your health and armor increase, makes you more tanky. And then Fluid form is one of the newer ones I've been running, which is pretty nice. So that way you can just cast like Wrath, for example, and automatically put you in Moonkin form, which helps out quite a bit. You can switch some talents around and go Decurse if there's like Warlocks, like a lot of Affliction Locks, example. It's helpful out for that. The ones you could probably switch out for would most likely be Feline Swiftness is one of them, and then for the other one, I'm not entirely sure. You could probably switch out Fluid form if you want, or because I like Vigor for the extra defensive here. So you can switch out probably those two and go Corruption if you want. And then that way you can face against, like if you want to have an easier time against Affliction Locks, you can do that. It's up to you. Other than that, this is pretty much my main build, and it's been working out really well for me. If you've seen a lot of my Boomkin videos, you'll see this burst build does a lot. So, by the way, I will leave a little link, not a link, but like if you go to the end of the video and there's these video cards, I'll leave a link to a Boomkin video there, and if you want to see this build in action, you can see it that way. And now for the right side. Eclipse. This is going to be your main talent you start off with, and that's the thing you just, get into an Eclipse and how you do major damage. I personally, actually, we'll go over rotation later, but that's how you get into an Eclipse. So it increases your arcane damage, etc. So more, or your wrath damage, depending on what you do. But like I said, we'll get into the rotation later. I don't want to confuse people going all over the place. But yeah, you use Starfire or Wrath to get into an Eclipse, and that's how you do your damage. Solar Beam is going to be your kick. Shooting Stars, and this just calls down a meteor to do damage and give you astral power. For this build, you're going to be running Force of Nature because of the hero talent tree, which we'll get into later. So I run Force of Nature for that reason. So you'll be running Force of Nature due to that. Twin Moons increases your Moonfire damage, and it also goes to a nearby enemy. So something like this. So you can see it goes to the other enemy, which helps out quite a bit instead of having to manually Moonfire everything over and over. Soloist, you get it every 6 seconds, and shooting stars falls 200% more often. Ethereal Kindlings, casting Starfall, extends the duration of your Moonfires and Sunfires. So basically, this will continue making your dots last longer. And considering the fact that you do pop Starfalls pretty often, it's pretty nice to extend your dot. So it's very nice. Nature's Grace, which is very, very useful. This reduces the cast time of your Starfires and Wraths when you're not in Eclipse. So this makes your cast times go way faster. So, and it's very nice because who doesn't love fast cast times? Nature's Balance, when you're in combat, you generate astral power. While you're out of combat, you stay 50 astral powers. This is very nice. You want to grab this. Celestial Alignment or Incarnation. This is going to be your main burst, and you're going to obviously want this because who doesn't love Moonkin Burst? And that's pretty much what Balanced Droid's main damage comes from at the moment, is their burst. Astral Smolder basically gives you a dot, which this will help you out with a talent called Waning Twilight, and when you have 3 periodic effects, they will take 6% increased damage from you. So it is very, very nice. So Moonfire, Sunfire, and then 1 dot proc from either like the mushrooms or Astral Smolder will give you Waning Twilight, which is very, very, very nice. Stellar Amplification, and when you Star Surge, your dots basically take a little bit more damage. Soul of the Forest, Solar Eclipse, increases Wrath Astral Power generation, so it's kind of basically helps with your generation, so it gives you more Star Surges. And then for this one, Incarnation's Chosen cooldown is reduced to 90 seconds and has 2 charges, but its duration is reduced. So basically, you can pop your burst twice, and its cooldown is lower, so I used to run Orbital Strike, and you can if you want to, but I think Whirling Stars is way better at the moment after having gotten used to it for a while. It's just that having 2 charges of burst is insanely nice, and Moonkin Burst is just really good right now. And their consistent damage is kind of meh outside of that, but yeah, Moonkin's damage really comes from the burst, so this helps out quite a bit. And Astronomical Impact, the critical strike damage of your astral spells is increased by 20%, so more crit on your damage. Cosmic Rapidity, your Moonfire, Sunfire, and Stellfire deal damage 25% more frequently, so makes it do more damage faster. Star-Lord, basically this just gives you more haste. Once again, who does not love haste? Haste is really nice. Balance of All Things, this basically once you enter an eclipse, your crit will just go way up there. It decreases over time, but once you pop your burst and enter that eclipse and just shred things, you're a monster. So this talent is really nice. Harmony of the Heavens, Star Surge, and Starfall increase your eclipse arcane damage, so just more damage. Incarnation, this is basically replacing Celestial Alignments, and this will just give you some more stuff, like a more 10% crit. And Incarnation is just way nicer than Convoke of the Spirits. Convoke of the Spirits, unfortunately, it's just not really that good for Balanced Druid. It's good for like saving yourself. I've seen some Boomkins use it, but that's about to the extent like of Convoke being good. It's more better for the defensive. And then Elun's Guidance reduces the cooldown. Not cooldown, sorry. Reduces the astral power of Star Surge, so you can spam it 1,000,000 times more, which you'll see in the rotation later in the video. So it definitely is very nice grabbing this. And then the other 3 are Rattle the Stars, which reduces their cost by 10% and increases the damage of Star Surge and Starfall. And then for this one, I like Fury of Elune because it's way easier to get to get it off than New Moon. But New Moon isn't like anything bad. It's just it's not as good for this build. If you want to run New Moon, you have to run the Elune's Chosen talent tree. So that's the reason why for this talent tree you want to run Fury of Elune, because it's just way better. Not to mention it's instacast and it's easier to get off than a New Moon. And then the other one's just giving you more damage for Fury of Elune. So that's it for the right side of the talent tree. Now for the hero talent tree, this goes back to what I was saying. Force of Nature. For this build, you're gonna you need that, and for Keeper of the Grove. So basically, what you do is you summon the Trents, and they give you all sorts of power-ups. For example, I summon the Trents right now, and I have a Dream Burst. And what this does is I use Wrath, and it does a little mini AoE. It hits. You can hit somebody very hard with the Dream Burst, especially during like an eclipse as well. So it is very, very, very useful. But like I said, you need Trents for it to work. And then for the other ones, Trents can also cast Moonfire on nearby targets, which will help you out with dots. And then some other ones, increasing your, when you enter an eclipse, your haste gets increased for 6 seconds. So if you're not running haste and running mastery stacking, this will just give you more haste, which obviously haste is really, really nice. So that's another reason why Keeper of the Grove is really, really strong. And then for the final talent, each of your Force of Nature Trents increase the damage of your spell. So you'll have even more burst. So between the Dream Burst and the increasing haste, and of course even more damage with Trents, this build will give you some mega burst, like really huge. So that's pretty much why I run the hero talent tree, and that's pretty much it for the talent tree. So now let's go over PvP talents. Right now I run Thorns, which is, I guess, not really as impressive anymore. You could switch it out for something else if you really, really want to. I mean, if there's no melee, there's kind of no point in running it anyways. You can switch it out for Tireless Pursuits, which is pretty nice. Or you can run Celestial Guardian. That's also another really good one. You could also switch to Fairy Swarm for disarms, although if there's melee, then it's still kind of pointless. But yeah, Fairy Swarm's another good one. Also, Alkin Adept is another great one if you want to run that. High Winds is also another good one to make your Typhoon and Cyclone range farther. So that's also another one. So it's up to you on what you want to run. There's a ton of different good talents. To be honest, I probably wouldn't run Thorns anymore. Now, I've been switching a bunch of talents around. But yeah, Thorns just feels like it's kind of meh anymore. But yeah, those are the talents I would recommend. Alkin Adept or High Winds, Tireless Pursuit, or Celestial Guardian. It just depends on what you're facing. So the other one I run is Starburst. Starburst is really nice just because you're going to be popping Starfalls and it just pops everywhere for more damage and people run into it, knocks them up, gives you Astral Power. Very, very nice. And then always run the Moonkin Aura. This will give you spell crit, so more crits, you know, self-explanatory. So always run Moonkin Aura. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for PvP talents. Short and simple. Sum it up again, if you don't want to run Starburst or Thorns, you can run Tireless Pursuits, Alkin Adept, High Winds, Fairy Swarm, or Celestial Guardian. Those are the ones that I have tested, and they all have worked pretty well. And yeah. Alright, up next is stats. So, I personally have been running pretty much all mastery. Like I have been running like all mastery. I mostly did it because of Feral back then, and I was like, you know what, I really like mastery, so I ended up sticking with that. I do have some gear with haste, like I have my cloak with haste and boots with haste, because I didn't want to go like full all out mastery. And then of course some of my gear has haste on it because of the tier. So you can see my gloves, my belts, I'm not my belt, sorry, my pants, etc. So it's not like I don't have any haste at all, but between just that little amount of haste and of course the talents I was saying of earlier, which again, Star Lord gives me haste and Nurse Might gives me more haste as well, I haven't really felt like it's not really been that much of a regret doing this. So I personally went mastery because you can see, if you see any of my videos, I do so much damage with the full mastery as a boomkin. Like it's insane. I do so much damage as a boomkin with stacking mastery. If you want to go haste, that's up to you. But I love the mastery build or mastery stat personally. It's been so much nicer, and I've been doing fine with it in blitz. I've been doing fine with it in battlegrounds. I personally love it more. Some other people on stream have been telling me they love it more, but I know some top balancers do go haste as well. So that's up to you if you want to go haste, or if you want to do mix of both, or go mastery like I did. But yeah, I personally loved it a lot more, and I would recommend going mastery with some haste. Like for example, obviously, talking about this as well, get the 4 set and make sure you get the gloves for versatility haste, pants for mastery haste, helmet for haste mastery, and then shoulders for crit and mastery. So that's the way you would get for the 4 set. For embellishments, focusing lens, when you deal damage, it has a chance to deal damage, and get the precog gem so you can juke people and be immune to CC if you juke their kick. So that's just pretty much it for the gems. And as for the gems, you can see I went mastery versatility. If you want to go haste, you can go that route as well. But like I said, I've been loving the mastery build, so I've been going that route. For enchants, Defender's March on the boots, Intellect on the pants, Crystalline Radiance on the chest, and a 30 Radiant Power on the weapon. For macros, there's only really 2 I use currently, and that's the Set Focus Cyclone macro. So, for example, I put this guy in Set Focus, I target the other one, and then I Cyclone him, and it Cyclones my Set Focus target. So it's very, very useful for battle rounds, in case you need to CC a healer or something. It's very, very useful. As well as arena, if you're doing that kind of thing as well. Also, I do have another set focus macro, which is extremely useful, way more useful than, I mean, the Cyclone one is obviously useful as well, but I use this macro way more than my Cyclone one, and that is the Solar Beam Mass Entanglement macro. So for this, basically what it does is, hold on, I have a bunch of different ones. I think it's this one, but it's basically this one. It's actually this one, my bad. So basically, it's the same thing as Cyclone, except it mass root beams. And that's basically what this macro does. And it is so powerful against healers. So for example, you would root beam them like that, and then once it's about to go off, you Cyclone. And then they just hit a huge CC chain, and you should get kills because of that. So it is absolutely huge. So, very, very insane, very insane macro, and highly recommend. I need to fix some of my macros, by the way. I have too many useless ones. And yeah, so very, very useful. So, but those are my only 2 macros I really use, and I need to delete a bunch of other ones because these ones are all useless or old ones. Some of them are my feral ones, but yeah. Set focus macro for Cyclone. Set focus macro for Boomkin, or Root Beam. Sorry, I'm a little bit half asleep. And all right, now we go for rotation. So for rotation, you just want to start off with as much dots as people as you can. Like dot everybody up, and once everybody's all dotted up, you pop your Trents, you pop your Incarnation, and you pop your Balloon, and you just Star Surge spam until you can't anymore. Just absolutely spam it. Spam it so hard. Look how many Star Surges I got. Unfortunately, my dot ran off, so reapply dots. Star Surge again, Star Surge again, Star Surge again, and that's the burst rotation. And I accidentally spammed Incarnation twice when I didn't mean to, but since she'll probably be most likely still in a longer team fight, just pop it again after that and just continue bursting again. It's huge. Or you can just save your Incarnation for Fury of Balloon and Force of Nature, since they're 1 minute cooldowns, and do it that way. But that is literally the burst rotation. It is very, very simple. So otherwise, if you want, you can also do this. You can pop Incarnation with and spam Starfalls. Unfortunately, my Incarnation is up not up because I spammed it twice by accident. But instead of spamming Star Surge, you can do like a Starfall or two and then Star Surge during that. So let me show you guys one more time since my Incarnation is up. So if this will be the other rotation instead of the Star Surge route. So once again, you pop dots on everybody first. Moonfire, make sure they're all Sunfired, Moonfire as much people as you can. You pop your Trents, Incarnation, Fury of the Loon, Starfall, Star Surge, Star Surge, Starfall again, and keep just spamming those Star Surges, and then that's pretty much it. And then you can pop Starfall one more time if you want as well. And you just do so much massive damage. And it's just, and then now you see you get back to an Eclipse. You use your Wrath to get into an Eclipse, and then yeah, just Star Surge when you have Astral Power. That's pretty much the rotation. So let me do one more rotation, this time without the burst. All right, so this is without the burst. Maintain your dots on everybody. I mean, no matter what, you're gonna be always doing that, even without the burst. But yeah, just maintain dots as much people as you can during the downtime. And here we go. Use Wrath to get into an Eclipse, and then because it's faster, and then you Star Surge when you have Astral Power, Starfall if you want, and then just if you have nothing left, just Starfire if you can free cast. Otherwise, just continue dotting everybody up. And that's pretty much the rotation without burst. Like if you have no burst and nothing really you can do, just you use Wrath to get into Eclipse like so, and then use your Astral Power with Starfalls or Star Surges depending on what you're doing. Starfire if you can free cast, and that's pretty much it. That's literally the rotation outside of burst. Very simple. Now for one more time with the burst, just to do it one more time. So here we go. Trents, Incarnation, Fury of the Loon, Starfalls, Star Surge, Star Surge, Star Surge, and Star Surge. Let's do one more Starfall. Star Surge, and Star Surge. And that is literally the rotation with the burst. Like, you do so much Star Surge damage with this build. So, anyways, that is it for the video, guys. If you have any more questions, let me know. And yeah, that's it for the video, guys. I will catch you guys later. Peace.